Hi everybody. Today we're going to talk about solving quadratics by factoring. Just as a reminder, a quadratic function is a polynomial with a degree of 2. Standard form is usually in the form of y is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. Now, what you learned previously was how to factor them. What we're going to do is once we find them, we're going to factor and then set them equal to 0 and solve. Solutions of quadratic functions are what we call roots or zeros of a function. This is where the graph crosses the x-axis or the x-intercept, which we'll get to at a later time. The zero product property essentially says that if we have two numbers that are multiplied together to equal 0, then we can set both of them equal to 0 separately. This is going to be the same exact case whenever we're solving today. Some steps for solving: get all terms to the same side, factor, use the zero product property, and solve for each equation for x. Okay, so let's take you through a couple of these examples. Remember that you can pause this video at any time that you want to, or rewind to listen again. Any questions, please feel free to reach out to me via email. Okay, so we've got x plus 7 and x minus 4. As you can see, this is already factored, so I'm going to use that zero product property, and set both of these equal to 0 in order to solve. X plus 7 is equal to 0. X minus 4 is equal to 0. So in this case, we get x is equal to -7 and x is equal to 4. Now, if we were going to put these on a graph, which we are going to be doing later on, we would now have the points -7, 0 and 4, 0. Like I said, we get to that at a later point. Right now, I mainly just want you solving them. Example number 2, 6x plus 9 times 4x minus 11 is equal to 0. Once again, we're going to solve these. Set them both equal to 0 because they're already factored. So 6x equals -9. X equals -9/6, which then we can reduce to -3/2. Over here, 4x is equal to 11, and x is equal to 11/4. My recommendation for this video is to try the problems out after this. Usually the second problem. Try it on your own. Now, example 3. If you notice, it's not factored. So we do have to factor this first. 2x squared minus 11x is equal to 0. Both of these have an x in common. So I'm just going to pull out that greatest common factor. That's what we should do first. And then, once again, I'm going to set each of these equal to 0. Now, the first one, x is equal to 0. That's solved. That's our answer, or one of our answers. And our other answer is 11/2. Try example 4. Hopefully you took out a 2. Make x squared minus 49 equals 0. And then hopefully you also saw that x squared minus 49 is a difference of squares. X minus 7, x plus 7 equals 0. Now, even though we have 3 separate things, 2 itself, if I set that equal to 0, it's not possible. So anytime you factor out just the number itself and set it equal to 0, you're not going to get a solution. However, x minus 7 and x plus 7 you will. And once again, remember, if you just pull out a number, you're not going to be able to set it to 0 to get a solution, only things with variables. Now we're going to get into factoring the trinomials like we did previously. We've got x squared minus 8x minus 48. So we have to say to ourselves, what's going to multiply to give us negative 48? That's going to add to give us negative 8. That is going to be x minus 12 and x plus 4. Now set these separate. And there's our two solutions. Now, just as a reminder, okay, if we're graphing, which we are going to get to, we would have these marked as the points 12, 0 and negative 4, 0. Make sure to be pausing the video and trying these problems out on your own, or maybe even going through the notes. X squared plus x minus 42. So what's going to multiply to give us negative 42 and add to give us a positive 1? X plus 7 and x minus 6. And there's your final solutions. On example number 7, you will want to, in order to solve these, make sure that they're all set equal to 0. So in this case, x squared minus 12x equals negative 36 is not set equal to 0. So we're going to have to add that 36 over to the other side first. So x squared minus 12x plus 36 equals 0. From here, then, we can split it up as to what's going to multiply to give us 36 and add to give us negative 12. So x minus 6 and x minus 6 equals 0. Now here's a new concept, I guess, is x minus 6 is twice. So we don't really have to say it twice. We'll just get one solution. Again, because both of these are twice, they're the same, we only need to solve one of them. Graphically, something different happens whenever we have two of them. I'm not going to go into that right now, though. That's for another lesson. Same thing with example number 8. We want to make sure that we move the 21 over to the opposite side. Each of these we want to be set equal to 0. Three, 2, and 21, you can't factor anything out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to think to myself, and maybe off to the side you are, what's going to multiply 3 and 21, or negative 63. So what would multiply to give us negative 63 and add to give negative 2? I'm going to make my small U chart. And then, of course, I kind of go down through each of these. So let's see here. 63, 21, and 3, 9, and 7. So this is kind of like that sideway that's what's possibly going on in your head in order to do your factor by grouping, which you'll have to do here. So 3x squared minus 9x plus 7x minus 21 equals 0. So you got 3x from the first part and a 7 from the second part. So you get 3x plus 7 times x minus 3 equals 0. And then I've got to split this up. So 3x plus 7 equals 0. X minus 3 equals 0. And there's our two solutions, negative 7/3 and positive 3. Last example problem that I have for you, example number 9. I'm going to try and factor, like I usually do, greatest common factor out first. 2 and 50 both have a 2 in common. And then y cubed and y also have a y in common. So I'll be left with y squared minus 25. Very similar to the other problem that we did before, difference of squares, y minus 5 and y plus 5. The only thing that you'll probably note on these is that now the 2 actually has a variable with it. So we'll set that equal to 0 and get a third result. And then there are my 3 answers. Y is equal to 0, y is equal to 5, and y is equal to negative 5. If you have any questions, again, please feel free to reach out. You can always pause this video, back up, use the example problems as examples for your homework that you'll be doing. And then there's also some video resources listed for you within your notes. That's all I've got for you today. Have a wonderful day.